All right. I think we're live. Well, it says we're live, so we must be. And I'm going to check by just listening for some audio, make sure it's all coming in clear. You can also give your feedback throughout the live stream by commenting below. I know there's a little bit of a air conditioner muffling my voice, so apologies for that. That will clear up in just a minute. Yeah, let's see what that sounds like. Alright, audio on. I'm going to check by just listening for some audio, make sure it's all coming in clear. You can also give your feedback throughout the live stream by commenting below. Yeah, I mean, everything's coming in. I just turned off the muffling AC, which I'll turn back on in a minute. Great to have you all. Whew. And if you're joining us in the future, you are welcome to skip ahead a little bit. I was having a couple technical difficulties, but wanted to start on time, so you might need to skip ahead to like five or so minutes. But I'm going to get the headset connected, and I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. So we'll talk soon. I'm going to wait for some people to show up as well, as it doesn't appear anybody's here. I didn't schedule the live stream like I usually do, so apologies for that if you are used to us starting with that. But 29 minutes until our usual start time. I want to start early, and you'll learn why in just a moment. Let's go ahead and see if I can't get this functioning correctly. It was weird. It wasn't tracking like with my head, at least not in time. So hopefully we'll get that fixed. Starting Horizon Worlds. Welcome. Great to have you. Thanks for joining. And feel free to comment, ask questions, all the fun stuff. I'm currently getting the Horizon World app up and running. It does appear to be functioning a little bit better. Last time I loaded in, it was kind of like shaking, almost like a lag connection. So I was thinking maybe I'll plug into the computer directly. But I haven't had some of the other issues I've heard reported. So since the recent update to Oculus accounts, some people have had some interesting issues with their desktop computer. Like I heard about fisheye lens recently. Okay, if you can see behind me, I'm not sure if you can, some sneak peek of what's to come. I got a couple cool things I'm looking forward to sharing here momentarily, and so really excited. But everything is functioning better, so that's the good news here. And you know, normally we'd start with a poll, but today I've got a very specific task I'd like to get done, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So I might start prepping and queuing us up for that while we wait for some more people to come and hang out with us. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Loved answering those questions, whether that's now or in the future. Oh, welcome to our second viewer. Great to have you. Thanks for joining. And thank you both for liking. That's so awesome. Really appreciate the support. And I'm going to switch over to our in-game view so you can get a view of what we're working on. So you get the first sneak peek. All right. Oh yeah, what is that possibly? So, popping over to here. There we go. That looks good. And we're live. Oh wait. Oh, that's sweet. I forgot I had fixed that. Oh, whoa. Is there a little something? There's like a little something in the top right of my... I can't see it in VR. Oh, that's so strange. I can fix that here. I'll just slide that over to the right. Huh. Okay, and fixed. Not sure what that was, but there was like a little something in the top right there. Oh, no. Eyelash just fell. Okay, audio should also still be coming in good here. Let me know if there's any issues. And, oh, thank you, Craig. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thanks for the amazing content helping there. Yes, you are so welcome. My absolute pleasure, you guys. Seriously, I not lying. Absolute pleasure. So I think you can see what I'm looking at. My live stream feed. Let's make sure that's caught up. Oh, appreciate that. Perfect. Thanks for the amazing content helping there. Yes, you're so welcome. Whew. Okay, so audio should still be good even though I've got the AC on, but my audio should probably be muted over here, huh? There we go. Sorry, guys. Oh, man. So welcome. This probably looks exciting, doesn't it? What is this? And thank you guys for the happy birthday wishes. Honestly, my favorite thing in the world is Horizon, and I love spending time with you guys. So this is like the treat. As a heads up for next Sunday, I am going to be at a baby's birthday party. Not for my baby, obviously, but apparently it's a thing where you bring your baby to other babies' birthday parties. I'm not fully sure and sold, but I'll be there. And But unfortunately, I won't be here on the live stream. So maybe I'll make that up next week on like a Friday or something. But Oculus should still be doing Horizon Live. Now, this exciting place, the sneak peek you're getting here, is Vidyuu Park. So I'm going to tell you all about this. And you might notice that we are in preview mode and you can see script blocks, triggers, all the fun stuff, visual effects, all on display. And you might recognize this from a previous world we worked on called the Simple Tools Vidyuu Asset Series 1. So this just launched 2 weeks ago, past Wednesday. And that is where we had 20 assets from the Vidyuu Assets pack get added to the asset library. And they came back and were like, we want more. And I was like, you do? Well, I've got 150. Let's get going. So I've spent the last week and a half or so working on some new assets for the asset library. And ideally they hit the asset library this Wednesday, but things could go up and change. Things, change on a daily basis. But ideally, everything you see in here will be in your library on Wednesday. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, when you open your menu, you can head to the asset library and you can go to the asset library, and under community spotlight, that's where these assets currently are. So you can find last couple weeks, these have been here, these from the asset pack. And then we're going to add these ones next. And so I'd like to show you as a user. So the first thing that's in this asset pack is this sign. I thought this would be kind of fun. You can customize it, and that's pretty neat. And as we walk in, there's a new info stand. And so I developed this specifically for this world, but I thought you guys might like it too. Basically, it's got a sound recording. And then when you walk into the trigger, it's going to play that sound recording. And we'll just do it. And then you'll only hear it if you're within radius. And then you also get the text that gets displayed. So I thought that was kind of cool. And so it just hides and shows a text when your hand enters the trigger or anything enters the trigger. And then the audio stops when you exit. So pretty cool little one there. We've also got the random teleport. You might recognize this from the Vidyuu Essentials pack, or the asset showroom as we now call it. And so this one is the same thing. Nothing's been changed, but you walk into it and it teleports you to a random location. And in this case, it's a carousel. And I thought this carousel would be kind of cool. I thought about putting like creatures on it, but my design skills are to be to be seen. Way cooler is if you guys designed your own like characters, creatures, horses. I'm getting some crazy lag all of a sudden. Yay. This is what happened to me just a minute ago, except for it's not as bad. Oh no, we're good. We're good. But yeah, so I designed this, right? And so like you guys can make your own horses, place them on here, and then people can ride around on it. Hey, Big Mama Bethany, great to have you. Thanks for joining. So I know you were going, I literally saw you online yesterday and I was like, do you want to come check this out? And I was like, I got to keep focused. I knew we'd spend too much time chatting, but I am so excited for these to come out this week. And I look forward to getting these to you. So yeah, this is a really cool one. And then we'll continue with the theme park theme rides, where you have this new Ferris wheel. So you might have seen the old one in the asset pack. This one has been redesigned. It's super cool. You can see there's this little trigger as you walk in. Whack. It's so funny. And then you can jump on. And unfortunately, because it's animated, the inside of this becomes super dark, which really stinks. So I thought about making it unlit, but it just doesn't look as good unlit. And so yeah, these are really cool. They work a little bit better in play mode than build mode. You can see sometimes the animation glitches out a little bit, but it's pretty neat. And I really like the design here. So excited to get this out to you guys as well. And then as we exit, it only plays the animation when people are in there, because it's relatively expensive on your world in terms of like frame rate. So you really only want to run this when people are inside the trigger. So it's using this giant trigger around it to determine when to function. So that's how that works. Continuing through the list of cool new things coming here, we've updated the boombox. You remember this? It was a nostalgia trip for a reason, and now it is less nostalgia and more kind of modern, futuresque. I love it. I think it's super cool. It's literally the same. Oh, actually, there's one major change. This one, I added a shuffle button, so you can now shuffle the music. And when it's shuffled, it'll play a different random song in the playlist, which is kind of cool. And then, yeah, it's just modern aesthetic. You can still grab this and let go. And it's not obviously as perfect. And so if you haven't seen this, what this does is it makes the volume a little bit louder. as you can see. So pretty cool. I probably don't want to get demonetized, so we'll turn that off. So let's check this out. So this here is a pretty cool new one. It is a timer, and I built this weeks ago when I was in the beta test for this, which I don't think I'm supposed to tell you I got to test these features. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm showing you because they're so cool, and I'm so excited to get these out. I'm noticing there's a little bit of clipping, so I'm going to have to fix that. But basically, the way these work is when you open the properties panel of this text, on the dropdown, you can choose your time zone. So I'm in PT, that's Seattle. You can turn on to like, I don't know, Central Time, and then it changes to Central Time. And if you turn that off, it'll default to the Pacific Time. So kind of neat. You also got British Standard Time, GMT, CET. If you don't know what those are all the European ones. We've also got Eastern Time, Mountain Time, the ones you're used to. But you can also type in your own time. So time zone. You can type this in, and I think I don't remember how this works. Let's try it out. Okay, so if I turn this off, -7 I think is, let's see what -12 does. Does it do anything? Enter. It does appear to work. I don't remember how I set it up, but it probably works. So I'm going to undo and get this back to Pacific Time. There we go. But yeah, so pretty cool little tool here. So look forward to you guys having access to that on Wednesday as well. And as we continue our journey, you're going to notice this fancy little bounce house, which I'm super duper excited. I'm going to read your text messages. Spirit, great to see you. Long time no see. Jay Nika, great to have you. I am looking forward to you getting your hands on this one. Thank you so much, Greg. Appreciate that. No, I would spend too much time chatting. Are you kidding? I am so chatty Cathy. It's a terrible, terrible disease that I enjoy. And so we're going to go and see what happens. So let's first analyze this because I'm so excited to show you. You remember the old bounce house. It was smaller. This one's way taller. It's got some really cool aesthetic. And what's really neat about it is this extra trigger. So you see there's a trigger at the bottom and there's a trigger up here. So this trigger makes yourself low gravity. So this is your low gravity trigger. And then the bottom trigger, I'll let you guys comment what you think it does, and then we'll see together. So we'll come back to that in like 30 seconds. This next section right here is the classic maze. It is the same old maze. I haven't made any changes to it, but I am really looking forward to getting this out to everybody because it's just so useful. And it was really hard to keep it in the asset pack for the Vidyuu showroom because it took up so much capacity, but now you can just pull it out, and so that'll make it a lot easier. Okay. With your votes coming in, I hope, I'm like 1 minute delayed, I think, because of live streaming. We're going to find out what this does. So here we go. What's going to possibly happen when I jump into here? Oh, so everything seems to be normal. You guys aren't voting, so maybe I won't tell you what's happening. Okay, no hands. What? Wait, what? Did he just no hands that thing? Yes, I did. So that's right. If you fall, you just automatically bounce. And so if you just walk in, you will get thrown up. And you can also land on these balconies, which I thought was really cool. You'll notice the low gravity zone ends right here. So that way, if you jump, you're jumping with regular gravity, not low gravity. And then if you jump at the same time, you can hit the roof. So I think that's like my favorite part is you can jump and hit the roof. And for the really skilled people, you can jump and get to the ceiling. I mean, the roof. Get to the... Oh, this is so hard. I forgot how hard this is. Like, thank you. There we go. Okay, so I made it to the roof, and I just think that's cool. So, wow, look at this place. Pretty neat. So we've checked out all of this side. And what else do we got? We got those two little boxes over there we'll go take a look at. And then there's that thing on the far side. Let's go take a look on that. This is the classic... you guys are all familiar with this. I got to get there in the next few seconds, though. Whack. Get me in. No, I missed it. Okay. So this has another duck sound, which I think is fun. And you also get to go up and down. Now, the difference with this one between the current one that's in the asset showroom and this one is this one actually pauses when it gets to the bottom and gives you time to get off and get back on. And I thought that would be kind of neat. So it does the 360-degree rotation at the top. It comes down to the bottom, does a half spin, waits for for one rotation of time. So it's going to stop here in a few seconds. And then it rotates again, and then it goes up. So I think it's really cool. I really like this one. Is that a second? So we have our classic broomstick. we're all familiar with the one where you use a remote control, but Sensei Jay recently posted a video on how to do an even easier flying method. We call this the simple broomstick. You press your index trigger and hold, and you will fly just by holding onto the broomstick. And it's pretty neat. Woo! So I can now see what the answer is to this maze without having to go in it. So pretty cool. I can also get up here. Nice. Maybe. Oh, no. Okay, I'm not that good at flying. Okay. So anyway, that's the new and updated little guy over there. Back in here, we can see the fan. Simple fan, just as before, nothing different. We got the this game, which y'all love. I love. And so classic over here. And so feel free to use that just like usual. But then you'll notice the deck of cards seems to have changed. So I spent a couple hours yesterday, which, yes, it was my birthday yesterday, but I love Horizon and I love creating assets. So I spent a couple hours working on this and I had so much fun. And so I'm calling it the Vidyuu playing card. So in the past, it was just an art piece, but it's now finally has some function. And so what you can do is you press your hand in here to draw a card. A card is then spawned into the world and designated. This actually does 52 cards. And once you run out of 52 cards, it'll tell you you're out of cards. So you can then spawn in another card. And if I was playing blackjack, that's 9, so hit. And that's a 1, so that's 10, so let's hit. And that's an 8, and I'm gonna stay. And if I had somebody I was playing against, maybe this would actually be fun. So when you're done, you can shuffle the deck by pressing this button, and that shuffles the cards back in, despawning the assets. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So super excited about that one as well. And then in our next little area here, we have the fan and the these guys, your lightsaber. Energy swords. Excuse me. So anyway, very exciting tools in here. I have 3 more to. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I have 3 more to add. So let me tell you what those 3 are. They're relatively simple. But one of them is the name of this video, so you already know. So the first one is, we'll head into build mode, and I've created a folder to track these. Let's go ahead and stop the world script, and stop, and clear. Okay, and so the first one is game items. So we did this one. So basically I have this whole folder where I'm keeping them all like, this one's ready, this one's ready, this one's ready. So Mystic Staff is one that we want to add to this pack. And more or less, this, it's like, I mean, so how do I put this without like, I don't know how to say this, but I kind of need to. So let's start. I'm losing my mind. Okay. And then the other one I wanted to put in was the drivable car pack. And so I really was hoping to design this, but I don't think I'm going to have time to design it. I think I'm just going to have to leave it as is because they're due tomorrow morning. So I really wanted to update the design so this looked more like a car than a platform. See, one of the problems is these... I'm so glad you loved them, Craig. Yes. But like one of the problems with these assets that I make is they oftentimes, and I don't mean any offense to you guys as creators also using these, but it's like people just use them as they are. And so like when I designed this car and this little platform, the idea is that you'd make your own car and then customize it. But nobody's really done that. And so I feel like I need to go design an actual vehicle, like a go-kart or something, so that it will, look good. So this is where I expect somebody like Craig or somebody else here is going to be like, I'll design you a go-kart. Thank you so much to be Purdue. Appreciate that. But I expect someone to be like, I'd love to do that. And this is where I was trying to get to with the Mystic Staff here is part of the Vidyuu asset pack is the Vidyuu assets we're getting added to the asset library. It's because I'm the one who personally signed the contract to put them in there for free. They, have basically said that anything that's been designed by other people, they don't really want in there. So I actually probably need to update the design of this controller, which just sounds bonkers, but the same thing with this like staff here. So it's kind of like just getting a little nitpicky at a certain point, but that's where I need to design the go-kart itself. And so that just adds like an extra hour to some of these assets of just doing some custom design work. But you know what I could do just for like funsies I have such a great idea for this go-kart. It's going to be a duck cart. I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? Like, just slap a couple ducks on the side, right? Like, that seems like a great idea. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But that looks fun. I would love to drive that around. Anyway, so I might go and redesign these later today, but we'll see. So, you know, all you have to do is then zoom that into the group. Make sure they're non-collidable. So you just select, open properties, make them non-collidable, and then zoom into the grouping, click to zoom out, then zoom out, and then we hit play world, and you'll see that I can now ride this little duck cart. And so, not super difficult. I'll press, oh, there we go. Maybe, there we go. Good duckies. That's pretty fun though, honestly. So like, I really want to build like a course area where you can ride the ducks around, because these have some really good physics properties. But like, anyway, you can see they're a lot of fun, and so fun. Yeah. We can put it in a parade. Yes. But yeah, so basically I need to do some redesigns there, and I think I am going to do the duck. I really do like that a lot. I'm going to just redesign the whole thing so it looks like an actual like racing duck or something. But yeah, so I basically need to redesign this staff. I feel like there's a brand new way to make staffs that looks really cool. Let me get into build mode way up here in the sky, away from everything. I made an asset out of this the other day. It's called meshes. So basically I made a pack of like meshes as a asset that I can just pull out whenever I need them. Make an entire meta parade. That sounds so good. And so in here, I can choose any of these that I want to use for my staff. Or like, this one's kind of good. It's not straight enough, so I'm going to undo that. Let's try. Ooh, I kind of like that one. No, maybe this one? I'm just trying to imagine holding on to it. Like, I think any of these would actually be really good, but the straighter the better. So like, this might be the best of the staffs. And then... Yep, that sounds good. So I'm going to go take this down here. And because these assets, these meshes are so expensive, I really need to delete them as fast as possible. They just, you can see I'm over capacity just by bringing them in. And this used up 50% plus of the capacity of this world, because this world is not near capacity. So kind of crazy. Yes, Craig. See, I knew Craig would be down to help. What a genuine nice guy. Appreciate you, dude. One day, I swear, one day we're going to be making assets like crazy. It's going to be so much fun. And I cannot wait until there's proper asset sharing where it's not just limited to, I don't even know, like, you know, people. Like, it's just like, who gets added, who can put assets in the asset library? It doesn't seem like anybody can. I mean, it took me 6 months, you guys, 6 months to be able to get approved to put assets in the asset library. And I literally was making assets before like anybody else. No offense to anybody else who might have been doing it before, but like I literally started before we'd opened out of the beta. So I don't know what to say. It just kind of is what it is. Ooh, this looks so good. So I'm going to take this and then try to make this look a little more unique, like almost one of those. That looks good. That's so crazy. I don't know if I like it or not. I don't think I like it. I'm going to delete it. I like it just like that. That's fine. But anyway, yeah, one day this will be so good. And actually, that brings me to like the point of today's video, and what we're talking about today is we're going to be making hyper pencils. And hyper pencils is a request I got from Hyperjewel, who was like, oh my gosh, how did you get in the asset library? And I was like, it was 6 months of begging. And she's like, oh, and I was like, yeah, it took so much work. She's like, well, next time, can you please get some crayons in there? And if you don't know Hyperjewel, she designed the crayons that allow you to draw on walls and stuff. And so I was like, okay, but the problem is I have to make it myself. So is it okay if I recreate the script from scratch? And she's like, cool. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I thought that would be kind of fun. And yes, Fish Gun was a great one, wasn't that? That was a fun one. I love that. Okay, so here's the launcher. And so what I want to do is basically take this, get it in position where I want it. So right about there. And that didn't work so well. There we go. I think that should about do it right about there. And then open up the properties panel of this one. Select this, deselect that, and then zoom this guy into here. There we go. Zoom in, let go, open the properties panel, make sure this is non-collidable, because meshes, when they're interactive that are collidable, become really, really expensive on your capacity meter and the frame rate in the world. Excuse me, not capacity meter, but your frame rate in the world. In fact, even these are pretty capacity intense. We didn't know at the time when we were making this, but we learned recently. More recently. Okay, this one's so hard to grab. There we go. And then what I want to do for the collision layer is use a cube like this. This is basically the cheapest. Although spheres aren't bad either, as long as they're not stretched out. So turn off visibility, and then put this at the grab point. So we want this to be able to grab from right here. So that should work. And then I do need to lock this piece and then select all of these little pieces. Man, this was such a good looking one. If you guys have this, store it, because it is one of my favorite looking designs. Murcott27 designed that, you guys. He's a fantastic designer. Absolutely gorgeous work, gorgeous worlds. Okay. There we go. So this is now all set up. We got the projectile launcher in the tip still. And now that it's been redesigned, I can zoom out. It said zoom out and then try it out. So we'll go ahead and place that back in place right about there. And then hit play. With that updated, I can now grab it. It looks like almost. My right hand seems to have lost grabbing, but my left hand's working. There's a red dot that I need to delete, but there it is. Look at that. That's pretty nice. I mean, it's different, but it's nice. I don't know why my right hand's not working, though. Yeah, I think my right hand died. Somehow. I don't know what that means, but... yeah, only my left hand's working. Cool. So, last step here was to delete the red dot. Zoom in. Find the red blob inside of here. Apologies for this weird... look. There we go. And delete. And then double click to zoom out. And then once we have updated the asset, what I like to do is I will open up my asset library. I'm going to also stop the world because I've got some crazy stuff moving behind me. So assets, and then we want to go down to game items and scroll down to Mystic Staff, information, edit, and change. And then I select from the script object and then select the other items. This keeps it square with the world, which is nice. And then with that selected, oh, and I need to select the respawn point that it responds to. And then click confirm and hit update. Now with that, there's a couple pieces missing here. What I like to do in my little asset showcase rooms is grab this guy. This is a script block that's now visible in the world. And so I designed it by hand, and then I can zoom in, open the text object on it, and then rename it. And so this one is called, let's see, what is this called? Mystic Staff. MYSTIC-STAFF. There we go, Mystic Staff script. And then what I'll do is select it and paste it right there. So when you come into this world in play mode, you can see it. And then the other thing I would like to show is these guys. And let's see if I can get that. How do I unlock? Okay, and slide up, and unlock, and duplicate, and lock, and slide down. Now I keep these locked because they are a bit, well, when I make the asset, I don't want these in the asset. I just want these in my library. So I'm going to set this actually right down here so it's easier to lock it because it's at the bottom. There we go. And that's good. Perfect. So now when I come into play mode, I can see this whole setup, and then I could even show like the visual effect and sound effect on there. I'm not going to for this one, but sometimes I do. And then we will take a picture of it, trying to get the right angle. And so sometimes if I can't get the right angle, what I need to do is just slide it forward. And of course, then none of the locked items move, so make sure this is unlocked for a second. There we go. And now we'll try that again. That looks pretty good, right about there. And once that's done, we will Check it out. Looks good. Post a world page. Submit. I like to post the photos I take of assets to the world page. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. And then I can update the photo on this by clicking information, edit, select from photos, select confirm, and update. Oh, and I should update the description. Sorry, Merc. I really wish I could. Update. Boom. Okay. Now that looks pretty good. Now it's nice. I can then slide that back into position and then lock down those couple items there. Perfect. All right, let me check out what you guys are saying. Bounce house. Yes. Thanks for the happy birthday wishes, you guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Pigeon. Appreciate you. My right hand does that too. Isn't it weird? So weird. I'm gonna check. Yeah, it's still broken. Whatever. That's fine. So I'm not going to worry about updating this one right now. Might come back to it later, but thought that might be kind of cool to see. Now, the hard part of today. Dun, dun, dun. Let's make sure I've got everything else taken care of. If you're just joining us, I know there's quite a few of you who have just joined, so appreciate you all tuning in this week. This is a new asset pack that will hopefully be launching this Wednesday. Sometimes it does take longer, things get delayed, but the plan is currently for Wednesday, and lots of cool things as you can see in here. Fun bounce house, Ferris wheel, etc., etc., etc. So really excited to get this out. Now, Hyperjewel has designed some really cool pencils. So I need to create an intro for this video because we're going to probably post this one to the YouTube page. Let me grab a sip of water and think about what I'm going to say. Also, hi! It's so weird. Sometimes I'm in VR and I'm like, this is the world I live in. And then there's the real world. And I'm like, what's out here? I've never been here before. It's so strange. I literally put in almost 9 hours in VR straight the other day. I popped out for 10, 15 minutes to get some food. And that's not even abnormal. I love VR. It's so fun. Super excited for potential Cambria headset in October. Ooh. So looking forward to that. Okay. Time for this video. Sorry, trying to clear my throat. Oh my goodness. Okay, and stretch. Hey everyone, welcome to Vidyuu Park. Today I'm super excited to be showing you... Wait, 1 second. Sorry. I'm did I do everything right? Is everything good? Am I recording everywhere? Yes, we are. We're good, Lakes. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Everything's fine. Okay, take 2. Oh, thanks, Pigeon. That's so fun. I know, I would do the same thing with her Oculus's Horizon Live. It's so good. And here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to Vidyuu Park. I'm super excited to be showing this off. If you haven't been to Vidyuu Park, you can check it out now in Horizon Worlds. That's Vidyuu Park. If you need the name, there it is. So this place is super cool. It's filled with some amazing assets that we're launching into the asset library. You can check that out by opening up your build menu, heading into the folders, my assets section. That's my assets. Under the asset library, you'll find community spotlight, and that's where you'll find these awesome assets. So check those out. Now, what are we doing today? Well, today I had a request from Hyperjewel, who is the infamous creator of the crayon drawing tools that are not crayons. You know what I mean, though? If you have never seen them, they're incredible. They allow you to cast array and draw, and they're so much fun. And so today we're going to take our stab at it and see what we can come up with. Now, the first thing we should do is build a space for this. So we're going to come on over here and duplicate. Oh yeah. So I've got this little black room, and I thought a nice dark room would be fun for drawing on. Now we could keep it unlit like this, but unlit is just so hard to navigate inside of, but it is kind of fun. Yeah, we'll try unlit. this could be great, or it could be absolute mayhem. And so, why could it be absolute mayhem? Well, because you won't be able to see where you're at, and that could be problematic. It also could be fun. So we'll find out. Bum ba bum, dun dun dun. All right, there we go. So, if I was to go into this black box, it would be absolutely horrifying. Horrifying. I'm not even kidding though. Like, if you come in here, this is it. It's like, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. It's so scary. I'm so scared. Okay, I'm not crying, you're crying. Let's get out of here. We need something to make this place feel alive. We need crayons. We need something to draw with. And you know what? I actually have a tool that was inspired by Hyperjewel's crayons that was in the Vidyuu asset pack. And they're called, did I call them pencils? Drawing tools? What did I call them? Oh, that looked like it. There it is, 3D drawing tools. So these are some of the ones that currently exist in the pack. And these are kind of neat, right? So like if I drop these in here and we come in, I no longer need to be okay, I'm afraid. Where'd they go? Where am I? Okay, I'm so lost. Am I losing? Where am I? Was that just... Okay, I think they were too high. Like, that's the problem with Unlit. You just don't know where you are. But now you can see I can draw around and this becomes a really fun space just using the current ones we made. And these are so easy to make. If you've never made these drawing tools before, it is super duper simple. And so I think that's actually where we should start. And then I'll show you how we can customize these so you can draw on the walls. And like, you could customize the, I mean, you don't need to customize these to draw on the walls, right? Like you can, I can't find the wall, but I think there's a... Where's the wall? Where's the wall? Oh my gosh. This is like a horror movie. Okay, we're good. I found the wall. So, you know, you can draw on it, and that's fun. But it's not easy to draw on the wall. It's hard to find the walls even, right? Like, that was kind of freaky. So, let's head into build mode, and let's make one of these from scratch. So, the way you do that is head into your Gizmos tab. You're going to pull out a Trail Effects gizmo. So, we're pulling this guy out of here. And then you'll see that it already has a trail. So all we need to do is make it grabbable. But for it to be grabbable, we need something else that it can be a part of. And so we're going to grab this here and just attach that. And then you select both of them, grab your hand, put it inside, and by thumbsticking to the left, you can group them together, and then they're together as a group. So now we want to be able to grab this, right? So to grab it, you then put your hand inside, press forward towards properties, which is going to open up this properties menu. And then we can set this to be interactive and grabbable. So now if I come into the world and grab this, you can see I can draw all around. It is that easy to make this awesome tool. And if you want to customize it, zoom into the group or ungroup it, whichever works best for you. But zooming in is super powerful. If you never use it, it's this button right here. It allows you to get into the grouping to make changes. And so then we can open the properties panel of this guy. I'll then zoom out so I don't accidentally mess something up inside the grouping. And then on this properties panel, we can change the color. So rather than it starting with, I can change it to black. I can also grab a different color like blue and then paint these swatches is the easy way to do it. You can also type in numbers if you want to. And you can change the preset to be a tapered trail and so much more. You can change the length of the trail. So if you want it to last a lot longer, you could like type in 66 and it'll last for, I think, 1 minute and 6 seconds or something crazy like that. I'm not sure exactly how that length is determined, but as you can see, this is lasting quite a while. And now you can just draw all over the place, which is a lot of fun. So very cool. Now with that little design out of the way, I think it's okay for us to spend a minute designing a really cool pencil. Am I playing on PC? Yes. So I do work on PC for the live streams. I don't normally, but I do for the live streams because it's easier to record. And I don't know. It's been working okay for me today. I was having some weirdness, but it wasn't like acting up. But I would say try again, or like try uninstalling it. I had to install 2 updates, one for Horizon and one for the Oculus software. So make sure those updates are installed too. Okay. First question I wanted to ask was, and I don't know if I want this in the videos, because I wanted to look and see if they had any pencils in here. P-E-N-C-I-L, pencil. Okay. Actually, what if there's a pen? I would be okay with a pen. Nope, that's not a pen. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything good in here that we could use to make a pencil. And the answer is no. Okay, so we got to design our own pen. All right, so the next step is we need to design a pen or pencil or drawing tool or whatever it is you want to use. That's what we need to make next. So I'm going to go ahead to the Shapes tab. I'm going to pull out this guy as well as this guy. And so this hexagonal or faceted cylinder can then be combined with this pyramid. And if I do this just right, which is not easy, but I will, you can snap it to here at an angle and then stretch, snap it to stretch and snap it to here. There we go. And then snap to there. And so that might have been hard to see. So I want to do that one more time so you can kind of see what's going on, because this is relatively difficult. So what you're seeing here is we have this cylinder with weird points all over it. Like these are not centered in a way that are easy to snap to. But if you grab your pyramid shape from this corner and you snap it at an angle towards this corner here, we can then make sure that it overlaps with this little edge, right? And so then on this side, if we snap along this, it turns out there's a dot here, so we can snap to this dot. And then on this side, we can also snap to that same dot to get it scaled correctly. At that point, we can turn snapping off and slide this however we want to get the tip where we want it to be. And then what I like to do with my pencil specifically, grab my duplicate tool and then turn snapping on and duplicate and rotate until it lines up. And then you can array tool to duplicate it for the third piece. And now we have what looks like a pencil, sort of. And so we can stretch this out to be the length that we want. I then usually will duplicate this. I've made a few pencils in my life, actually. Way more than I can count, surprisingly. And then we can slide this up to here. And then what I like to do is duplicate another copy of this and then make this with snapping tool off really thin and then slide snap that to there. And then we can go into our paint tab, grab a nice metal so we can make a very metallic looking line right there. And then we want a solid pink. We'll go Playful Harmony. There's a nice pink. I think this one actually looks more like eraser pink. There we go. That's a nice eraser. And then the last step here is to get our wood tone. And that's nice, but it should probably be plastic, so it's a little more reflective. And I don't think that color is just right. Do we have pencil yellow? Is pencils yellow? I feel like they're yellow, right? Manual color slider. There's got to be a color in here that looks like a pencil, right? No. Yes? I hope that looks good. Y'all tell me if that doesn't look good, but I think we're on the right track. And then the last step is to make our lead, and that'll also be solid. And we just paint these three up there. And now that I'm looking at it, it seems a little reflective, which is because this texture is slid up. And I can turn that down, and then, let's see. I think, yep, that removed the reflectivity, which is nice. And I kind of want to make it a little bit more gray. There we go. Maybe a little less reflective, though. Okay. And sometimes the reflectivity slider doesn't affect it, so you can just switch to a different one. There we go. Okay. You know what I'm realizing? It's only the tip of the pencil that's this color. And so I have made a mistake there. So I'm going to group this together. And once this is grouped, I can then duplicate a copy up and then small that down. So yep, small that down. And then what we'll do here on this piece is go and grab that kind of wood tone that you'd normally see in the pencil section there. That's what that would look like. And then you take this, and then this might flicker for a second, so apologies. And then we'll slide this up just a hair. And now that looks like a pencil. Y'all tell me that doesn't look like a pencil, and I'll be a little sad, but I think that looks really cool. So that is that's a pretty neat pencil. Oh my gosh, let me see that in person. That is a huge pencil, but it is very nice. And I think we can actually make that just a little bit smaller. And I kind of want to make this little metal piece a little bit bigger. So I'm going to slide this over to the left, slide that a little bit bigger, and then select and snap that back over to here. Okay, that looks better. Zooming out. Thank you. I'm glad you think that's good. I was like, what if they don't think it's good? Oh no. And so when you're scaling something down, it's a lot easier to scale when you pull out the spawn point gizmo. If you have it always out, it's going to cause some issues, so I recommend deleting it. But once you get the pencil to the right size, you can then delete this. The problem with having these is sometimes it'll have spawn on start on. No, it'll have spawn on start on, and then you'll spawn here when you don't really want people spawning into your weird design area part of the world. So, wow, look at that. That is a pencil, and I feel like that could stab me. That's pretty sharp. So the last part of this pencil is we left it all collidable, which I'm realizing is a bit of a problem. So we should do the same thing we did earlier by pulling out a sphere. And in this case, I think actually a cube would work better because we can stretch the cube, whereas we can't stretch the sphere. And so this can represent the grabbable positions on this pencil. So you can grab it from anywhere like that. And then we'll open this up, making it non-visible. And then open the properties panel of this guy, zoom in for a second before we bring this in, and start by making all of this non-collidable. Now that that's non-collidable, I can click one time to let go of it, and then click to zoom out, selecting this cube, then zooming this cube in with me. So I've just brought this into the group. I can then let go of it, and then turning snapping on, grab from this snap point here, and snap that right about there. Looks good, so it's nice and centered. And now that is the only collidable object in here, so I can zoom out, making sure to turn interactive grabbable on. We can now try this out. So I'm going to zoom out here, and there we go. Now that is a pencil that wants to write on something. Let's go. Thank you, Sunset. Appreciate it. Thank you, Janika. Appreciate it. Woo. And that is pretty cool. It's a super big pencil, but as you can see, this will get the job done. So let's go and see what is next. Sorry, when I record a video, this is the stuff you don't see. I'm always super nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's kind of fun when you guys hang out in the live stream and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. Don't mess up. Oh wow, that pencil does look like that pencil emoji. That is so cool. Okie doke. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I can actually see your comments as you're leaving them in the live stream. It's pretty neat. So feel free to keep commenting, asking questions. I'm happy to answer them as we go. And thank you all so much for being here. Wow, it's so great to have so many of you guys here today. Really appreciate that. Okay, dokie. So we've got our pencil. We could just do what we did before and bring the trail effects in, but no. Today it is all about taking this and firing a raycast out the front of it and then moving the trail effect to the point of that raycast. This sounds difficult. I know it sounds difficult, but I assure you, if you followed this portion of the tutorial, you could make this if you wanted to. We're going to make it an asset so you can just have it. So don't worry, it will be free and you're going to have this in your asset library soon. But I know you can do this. And if you'd like to try and follow along, I'd love to see how it goes. And I'd love to hear, if you have any questions or, what trouble you're having. So the script is relatively simple. So before we get to the scripting, let's go to our gizmos tab where we're going to pull out that script gizmo we're about to need. We're also going to pull out the raycast gizmo and we're going to pull out the trail effects gizmo. Okay, that is it. Those are the three things we need to make this work. Sorry, one second. This is what we need to make this trail effects work. And it's not super crazy. So what I want you to imagine with me here is that we take this raycast, and these do not work the way you would think they would work, but I'll help you understand how they work in just a moment. And we put it out here, and wherever this raycast hits, we move this trail effect to the hit point on that raycast. That's it. That's the entire script, okay? That's what we're going to do. So that probably sounds pretty straightforward, and that's because it is. But I've had so much trouble with raycast. I'm not going to lie. I'm really nervous that there's going to be just bug after bug. So fingers crossed, we got this. Next step here is we're going to open up the properties panel of our trail effects. And this is the time to customize this. I mean, it seriously is. Make sure you get the length where you want it. I know I don't want my length to be super long, so I'm going to set it to 15. I also know that the width should be really quite small. So I want to make this maybe like a 0.03. Just keep it really tiny so that it's not, come on, 0.03. I'm going to make this 0.03 for the width, so that way it's just not super thick and you can draw relatively detailed imagery. There's one of my favorite artists here, and I don't know if he's a, how do I say this? One of my favorite artists, I don't know if he does any creation, but he takes pencils like this and he draws art, and it's just incredible. And so the next step we have on here is our colors. And so as you saw before, we could go to our style tab and select any color. And I'm a huge fan of the color purple. So my start color will be this purple. I kind of like it ending with a blue. I think that's going to look cool. And so what we can do is draw like this, and you can watch it fade. It's kind of interesting that it's fading out to like baby blue, sky blue almost. So I kind of want to go maybe for a different color blue, like almost this one. And I think that's going to look a little better. I'm also going to change this to be a tapered trail. They're a little bit more expensive on your capacity meter in terms of simulation and animation, but that just looks so much nicer. Like, it really does. So I do think that's where we're going to keep this. And then, is there anything else we want to change? I don't think so. Everything else is good. It plays on start. It's rendering right. It looks good. The colors are nice. So now that we have our trail set up, we have the idea of how this is going to function. We're going to go to our script. Opening up our script gizmo. From inside our script, we're going to start by giving it a really good name. And I'm going to call this Pencil. That seems like a good name to me. Now, when World is started, we don't actually need this, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And what we need to run on this is relatively simple. It's called onUpdate. So grab your onUpdate event and drop date it into here. What does onUpdate do? Well, it's going to run for every frame of the world. And so that's about 60 times per second. And delta time will tell you like the time between each of those frames. And then you can track if there's a difference. So like if a frame takes longer to load. And we're going to keep it on default. We don't think we need to change that. And then up here under our settings, this is where things get scary, but I promise it's not scary. This is just going to give us responsiveness. So under settings, we're switching from default to local. And the difference between default and local is just defining where does the script take place. And that probably sounds really strange, but a default script is running on a server somewhere in Meta HQ, right? But a local script is actually running on a player's headset, like on their VR headset. And what that means is there's no time to have to like wait for it to message and ping a server and come back. It's happening instantaneously. And that is the benefit of a local script. With that said, what we want to do is move the projectile launcher. Excuse me. No projectile launchers in this script. With all of this set up, our next step is to create some variables. So under here, under our variables tab, we're going to create two object variables. The first one references the raycast. So we'll go ahead and call this RAYCAST. Enter. Confirm. Very nice. We have a raycast object variable. This allows us to reference the raycast so we can interact with it. Then over here, we can create another new object variable, which is going to reference the trail effect. So I'm just going to call this TRAIL FX. Trail FX. That was so hard. Trail effects. Confirm. And now we have two object variables referencing the two gizmos that we need to engage with. And what do we want to do? Well, we want to move something, right? So we're going to the motion tab where we'll find instant motion move to. Go ahead and drag that here under the update. We're not moving self though. We're going to move the trail effect. So we go over to our variables tab and grab trail effects and drag this over and replace self just by letting go. With that there, the place we're moving to is not 100. So we're going to want to delete this. So I'm going to pull down my thumbstick to delete that, but we do want to move it to a position. So where is that position? The position that this trail effects is moving to is the hit point of the raycast. And so what we're going to do is go into our actions. Double check, double check, double check. Yes, okay. We're going to head on over into our Actions tab where you scroll down to the bottom and you're going to find Raycast. Dragging Raycast over will drop that over here above Move Trail Effects. Now, almost always in scripting in Horizon, the order does not matter that much. Like certain things do matter, but in this case, it is imperative. Unlike most gizmos, the Raycast gizmo fires in a line with the motion here. And so normally you'd have to fire this one frame before, but ignore what I just said there. You don't have to. So what I mean is when you raycast with the raycast gizmo, you can get information immediately, which is bonkers. When I found out this was possible, I was blown away. So what we're going to do is go over to our variables tab, grab raycast, dropping this pill into this raycast gizmo slot. And now that we've raycast with the raycast, we can get information from that raycast. For instance, a position where there was an object hit. For instance, the position where it hit. To do that, we're going to head over to operators and scroll down to pretty close to the bottom. Let's see. Is it all the way down there? It is all the way down there. Get raycast data. Go ahead and grab get raycast data and drop that into the position field. And you'll notice there are lots and lots of options in here. And what we want to know is where it hit. The hit point is a position where the raycast hit. We can then grab our raycast gizmo variable, and thumbsticking to the right allows us to duplicate that variable. And when I let go of this pill, it returns back to here. So it hasn't been lost. Now we have a duplicate copy. If you're having trouble with that, you can always grab a copy from your variables tab. And this will now move to the hit point. I'm afraid to stop here, but let's try it out first. It's important when you're scripting, and I have a tendency not to do this, so it's important for me to even say it out loud and recognize it myself. It's important to test often while you're working on things. Find out where there are issues. I know what I want to do next, but let's first start by closing this script out. We're going to then go over to our pencil, opening it up, thumbstick forward, and then why did I say that? On our pencil, we're going to open up the properties panel, and then down here in the bottom right, we can attach the script. Let's find the pencil script. Here it is, pencil. Selecting that, we can now reference our raycast and trail effect. We'll go ahead and open up the raycast here, dragging this over by clicking and holding on the top of this, we can bring it with us. We can then grab the raycast pill from the bottom right and drop that into the raycast slot over here. And I've been having trouble with this recently, so if you are too, don't worry, I'm also experiencing it. But you just want to drop this over, and yep, see, it didn't save for some reason, so try that again. And then what I found is if I close and open this menu, it does seem to like register that it's saved. So there we go. And we're going to come back to this panel in just a second. Next up, we're going to the trail effects, opening up its properties panel, grabbing its pill from the bottom right, and dropping that into the other empty pill slot. It's now there, and I'll verify by opening and closing. Nice. All right. So back over here on our raycast pill, let's see. It's currently colliding with players, but we want to collide with objects. Let's go ahead and do both, and maybe that allows us to draw on players. That might be interesting to see. And object tag is not relevant, at least not at this point. The raycast distance of 2,000 meters seems a little absurd. I'm thinking like 100 meters is more than plenty. So let's just do 100. And the last thing we need to do with our raycast is make sure that it's inside of the pencil's grouping. It doesn't need to be this big though. So I'm going to scale it down. And now I'm going to select it, grabbing my snapping tool, and snap that right onto the center point of this tip. There we go. And with that still selected, I can now zoom into the group, clicking one time to let go of it, which will allow me to leave this in the grouping when I zoom out. And now we have grouped this together. You can see I can move it around. I'm going to go ahead and undo putting that back. And I think we are ready to give this a go. So I'm going to go script panel, hit play, and come on in here where I can grab the pencil. And oh my gosh, it worked first time. Oh, look at how cool this is. Okay, that is so cool. I didn't expect it to be that cool. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Whoa. Oh, I fell on an invisible cube. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is amazing. Look at, I can draw on that up there. That was way too easy. And look at, oh my gosh, I'm having way too much fun. But here's where I wanted to like point out an issue. Notice that if I point it off in the distance, it's going back to 0, 0. And so I want to show you how we can fix that, because that obviously is not intended, although it kind of looks pretty cool. Like, it is kind of cool. Definitely not our intended behavior. But, oh my gosh, I'm getting tangled. I'm having so much fun. Look at this thing. Oh, this is amazing. Okay. And breathe, and breathe. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Welcome, Dion. Also, Pat Dooley, I didn't see you were there. So great to have you. Oh my gosh, isn't this amazing? I am loving this. Let's go ahead into build mode and fix a couple bugs. So we're going to go ahead and stop the world. And with the world stopped, we are going to head back into the raycast, or excuse me, into the... And we're going to head into the pencil script gizmo. In here, there is something very important to add. And this is so it doesn't go to 0, 0, 0 like we just saw. If we grab this if control code block, this allows us to determine when do we want to make the trail effects move. And that answer is, if we grab this get from raycast, we can thumbstick to the right here in the condition fill. And you'll remember from the dropdown, there's a collision answer called did hit. Now you might be wondering, what does it mean? And so anytime you have questions about something, there is an easy way to find out what is it by going to the values tab and scrolling down to debug print. You can debug print this value, and I know what it is, but I want to show you, like, if you didn't know what did hit is, by debug printing did hit, we can hit play world, and you're going to see that it says false. And now you've just learned that when the did hit, what this tells you is that the did hit value returns whether it did or did not hit as a true or false statement. And true or false can be used inside of these control code blocks at the top of our events tab. So you can say, if this is true, do something. And so in our case here, we're going to say, if it did hit on the raycast, what were we going to do? We're going to move. Now this looks like it'll work, but if you're not familiar... Now, if you're new to scripting, this looks like it works, but really it doesn't. And so for if statements, you have to make sure to grab the thing that you want to be indented into the if. So clicking and holding, you're going to notice this white bar appears. And under the if we drag to the right, you'll notice the bar shifts, and we want to shift it to the right and let go, which then puts this bar on the left side. So that makes sure that this is indented into the if. With that set up, this will now only draw if it did hit, which is fantastic. And breathe. Let's go ahead and try this out. Oh my gosh. After playing the world, we'll go ahead and try this out. I don't even know. Let's try this again. I'm just like losing my mind. Okay. Let's go ahead and hit play to resume the world and give this a try. And so the notable difference is that it will no longer raycast when it's not hitting something. So when I press over here, it goes from the starting point to that raycast. And when I draw out over on the side, once I come back to the edge, it will draw over here. So you can see it immediately teleports. Before it was teleporting from down there, which looks like I can still draw down there. So there was a 0, 0 spawn point down there, and it was teleporting up to here. But now what's happening is it's going up here, and then all we have to do is drag off to the side. Oh, that's not working. I gotta see how, okay, so I've pushed it up like this parallel and then come back down. It teleports from there over to here. And so you can see that again, if I come over here, it'll teleport down rather than where it was doing before. So that's pretty cool. And I feel like that's all I really want to do with this. That is so cool. Oh, amazing. Any questions you guys have? Please feel free to leave the questions. This was pretty neat. Hello, Nasha FPV. Great to have you. Jim Pudden, this is how my chalkboard at the school of my improv works, but I see the raycast distance to 0.01, so you have to be touching the board with it to draw. Really nice idea, Jim. I love that. That's such a good suggestion. Okay, so I think I'm going to do an outro here, and because that was fantastic. I mean, that was like, that is a great beginner level tutorial. I didn't think this was going to be a beginner level tutorial, but like, honestly, I think that was great. Did anybody have any like serious questions as we were going through that? I think that was pretty easy to follow along. I mean, great to have you guys all here. So many people are here. This is incredible. Thank you guys so much for joining. But yeah, that was awesome. How to do a door, open a door with the keypad asset, because I'm stumped. I would love to show you that, Nosha. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but thank you for asking. Looking at some more questions. I really love the way you slowed it down for those of us. Yeah, no worries. I'm trying really hard, to be honest, Bethany. It's like, it is so difficult. Like, once you've been doing this for so long, you're like, my mind is racing. Slow me down. So it's kind of hard. If you set an origin point for the trail inside the wall and make it return there every time it doesn't hit, you can pick up the pencil, move it, and start again without a line visible. That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm kind of debating. So, like, part of this for me, Jim, is like, I'm debating, do I make this more intense? Because for somebody new who picks this up, they can modify this and use this and also learn from it really quickly. But once I start adding an extra like 5 lines of code or script or whatever you want to call it, people look at it and they get scared. And my goal is to really to inspire people to like try it out, because it's really not as difficult as it looks. And once you get started, it becomes easier and easier. So I'm thinking that I might want to leave this relatively simple for that reason specifically. Moondog asks, why did you make the pencil non-collidable and add the cube to grab it? The answer to that, Moondog, is that the objects inside of this pencil, if we look at it, we have a hexagonal cylinder, another hexagonal cylinder, a pyramid, and another pyramid, and then a pyramid, and another pyramid. So that's 3, 6, 9 objects that we're all trying to do collisions for every face. And 2 times per every face. Like, this has 2 triangles on this face. This one has 2 triangles on this face. And so on and so forth. So that's like, I don't even know how to do the math on that, but it's a ton of positions, right? Like, because this has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then times 3. So that's 75 plus all of these. So you're probably well over 100 positions that the physics engine is calculating against to determine if this pencil is then colliding. But if you use a perfect cube, which is what we put inside of here, if you haven't seen that, it is invisible. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see it, but there's an invisible cube in here somewhere, and that is where we're grabbing onto. By using a perfect cube, you'll note that a cube, the way, maybe, you'll note that a perfect cube is symmetrical on all the sides. Everything is like evenly oriented. And basically the physics engine, instead of using each position to determine where it's colliding, uses the center point of the cube and only uses 1 point rather than what would have otherwise been over 100 different positions. So this is 100 positions on the physics engine versus 1 position on the physics engine. It's an absolute game changer when it comes to making really impressive worlds that have great frame rates, are extremely responsive, don't lag out. And I know it's hard to think about as a newer creator, but it's really important, which is why I try to implement it in all of the assets that I work on, because it does have a huge impact when you start making 10 of these pencils in your world. So hopefully that answers your question. If you have further questions, feel free to ask on. I'd really appreciate it. Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you, Sunset. Appreciate it. I think the next part for this is just to close us out. So I'm going to do that real quick. And I'm wondering... No, we're good. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching this awesome pencil tutorial. I've had a load of fun. I'm going to try that again. Thank you guys so much for watching this awesome pencil tutorial. I've had a load of fun building this. If you have any questions or any thoughts about it, feel free to leave them in the comments. Engage with others. This will be available in your asset library very soon. Again, that's available under the assets section, under asset library, under community spotlight. So thank you guys so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing what you all create. See you in Horizon. Bye. Okay, now we're not actually leaving. That was just the end of that recording. But thank you guys. That was so much fun. And I did want to take it a little bit further. Oh, thank you, Pigeon. I totally agree. Easy to implement and configure, right? Totally. Hopefully we'll keep getting these added. I love making these. They're honestly one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so the last thing I want to do this pencil before we close out the stream on specifically on this section is I want to make it easy for I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Just give me 1 second while I find what I'm trying to talk about. There it is. And there we go. Okay. Okay, so I developed a script a while ago, and it's called return other object. And so when you locally script something like this pencil, it does not return automatically. And so creating a return script is important. And so there's actually 2 of these going to be necessary. So I'm going to call this one return pencil. Oops, I can't believe that's a 3. How did that even happen? They're literally, that's so crazy. Leet speak, am I right? Return pencil, and then I'm going to close this one and then duplicate it and create another version of this exact same script, which will be called return trail effect. Return trail effects. And so my goal with these scripts is that someone who doesn't understand how to do a return script doesn't necessarily have to worry about this. They're just here. They just automatically work. And so with a local script, you can't run a return script because every time this is grabbed, the origin position changes. And so what you do is you write the script like this. And we have a video where we do this. I want to say it's the microphone video. It's a relatively old video, but I'd really encourage you to watch the newer return position video. It's from about 3 weeks ago. That one's really good. But basically what we're doing differently from that here is when the world is starting, we save the origin position of another object. And then we listen to events on that other object. And this allows us to... Sorry, just like my nose is itching. So what this allows us to do is move these objects back by using this, which is a default script. And so this tracks all of the data that would otherwise have been lost because that's locally scripted. And if that doesn't make any sense, it's okay. Just know that when you're locally scripting, return scripts do not really work. So I'm noticing that this is using a deprecated return. It doesn't really matter. It still functions, but I'm going to really quickly update it so it looks cleaner. And grab return, drag down, delete, and everything else is good. And do the same thing on this one. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so those scripts are working. Now, if you've got access to the other object return script, it's in a couple of the assets. You open up the asset that you want to attach the script to. It can actually be any asset, which is kind of cool. You drop down and select the script, which is called return trail effects. So let's go find return trail effects. There it is, return trail effects. And then the other grabbable object is this pencil. So we open up the properties of this pencil, and then we just drag the reference pill of the group over and replace empty right there. And the other object that we want to return is actually self. So other object is the object you want to return. Also noting that it didn't save this, so I'm going to drag that back over again. Okay. And then we can define how quickly do we want it to return. And in this case, I want it to be instant. The moment you let go of the pencil, I want the pencil and the trail effects to return back to where they started so that other people can play with these and have fun. So that looks good. We'll go ahead and... You know what? I don't want it to be instant because what if somebody wants to hand it off to somebody else to use? So I'm going to give it a 5-second delay. So you got 5 seconds to grab it, which isn't very long, but I think that's still pretty nice. Okay, so now that that's set up, we've got the trail effects with its return, and then the pencil needs a return. And so for the pencil, I can run this on pretty much anything. It doesn't really need to run on anything specific, but I like to run it on an object inside of the grouping. And so, for instance, like this raycast can run it, and then we'll zoom out. And I'm not sure if running it on a raycast is a good idea, but we're going to do it anyway. So we'll drop down and select return pencil. And so what is the other grabbable object? Well, it's this grouping for the pencil. And what is the object that we want to return? It is also the pencil. So we just filled out both of those slots. And I want to make sure that it filled out. So I'm going to just grab it twice just to make sure that it got it. And then the delay is going to be the same 5-second delay we did. So 5-second delay. And there we go. So now our pencil and raycast will return when let go. And so let's go grab these two, dropping them up here. And then we're going to select these and this and drag it down and into here. So with this started, we can then select these guys. We'll go ahead and delete these because we're not going to use that in this pack. Those are going to be coming in the future, but I'll probably remake them. It's so much fun to remake assets. I'm not going to lie. So now that we've got this, I'm going to go ahead and script play the world. And when we come in, we can grab the pencil. It immediately starts drawing, which is really cool. And then when I let go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it should return. Or not. Did I do something wrong? I might have done something wrong. Let's find out. Dun, da, da. No errors. The trail effects and that are both still there. Go ahead and stop. Clear. Play. Stop. There we go. Okay. If I had to take a guess, my guess is that let me go read this script real quick just to make sure I didn't make a mistake. Other object, other object, other object, other object, other grabbable. Yeah, everything is set up in here. I suspect that the locally scripted object is functioning differently. Visit 2.0 changed a lot of the way local scripting functions. So my guess is that might be what's happening. And so there is a way to test this, and I'll show you how we debug something like this happening. Let's see. This all looks good. Everything still has its references in. So no simple mistakes as far as I can tell. So under our return pencil script, we want to know when the object is grabbed by a player. So when the object is grabbed by a player, let's go ahead and debug print the name of the player that grabbed it. So we'll go grab debug print and name of player. You don't have to do the name of player. You could put anything in here. I just thought that'd be fun. So grab that and play the world. Now I'll come in here, grabbing this. We should have received that event now, and I'll check it a couple times. Okay, then I head into build mode, and no messages were received. So my suspicion is that since the time when I used to use this for local scripts, it is no longer able to listen to local scripts. So instead of listening, what we're going to do is grab a different event, which is called connect to event. And we're going to connect the grab start to the local event grab start. And we're also going to connect the grab end event to the local event grab end. And then we're going to do that for the other grabbable. And I'm going to delete this, actually. I think that'll be a little bit simpler. Oh, yeah, they're not. Yeah, that's fine. That's correct. So we're only connecting. So this theoretically should receive the grab events. So an object is grabbed and released by a player. And then we should receive a bug print. So we'll try this out. So I come in here, I grab this, I spin it around a few times, then I let go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so that didn't work. Checking, no messages over here. So my suspicion is that there might not be a way to connect to it. Let's see. There are other ways to make this work, but I don't know. Yeah, okay, so we're going to have to remake this script in a completely new way, and that's A-okay. And so the way this new version of the script is going to work is that we're not going to need to know the other grabbable, and we're going to know new objects. I'm just going to rename this and call it return object, so it's a little bit more clear what it is. And then click confirm. And then return object is this one here. So this is the object we're returning. And then we're sending return to self. And then when return is received, we move all of this stuff. Okay. So this should solve the problems from this side. Now, the question you're probably asking is, okay, but like, how do we make sure it returns? And I do need to delete this return trail effects. I'm going to stop the world. For some reason, it's not resetting my positions. There it goes. Okay. So then I'm going to duplicate this return pencil to also return the trail effect. And since this is actually designed for this one specifically, I'm going to actually add in a new object called trail effects, confirm, and then also just, I'm going to make it just one script just so it's easier for people using this later on. And so this will call trail or T origin position, and then new rotation value called T origin rotation, confirm, and then we'll duplicate these both here, and then dragging these into the relative spots, and then grabbing the trail effects, and then down here we can duplicate. Trail effects do not have any physical motion, so I'm not worried about that. So I just need to do that, and do that, and then that and that. There we go. So that will work for our trail effects. And the way this is going to function is that on the pencil, we're going to do a very, very manual task, which I think will work, which is where we say when object is grabbed and when object is released by player, we're going to call this our object. Actually, we already referenced the raycast here, which is where we're running this script. So we can just forward this event to the raycast by doing send event to object. So we're going to send the grab start event to the raycast, which is where we're running that script. And we're going to send that with the player ID. That's important to make sure it's received correctly. And we're going to do the same thing here, but with the grab end event when the object is released. Okay, so that should work. Let's go and find out. So go ahead and hit play. Coming in here, grabbing this pencil. It is still drawing. Looks good, still drawing nicely. Took a second, but it's getting there. Now I let go, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I was very hopeful. Okay, so... Oh, it did return the name, though. So the event was received. That's the good news. So there must be something else going wrong. Let's go find out what that is. Oh, I know what it is. Haha. This was a simple mistake I tried to avoid earlier. Opening the properties panel of this, zooming out, we can then reference the objects because I deleted the references. My bad. Whoa. Sorry, I got some weird lag. Oh, snap. Horizon crashed. Sorry, it'll be 1 second. Yo! Oh my goodness. So far, so good. Yeah, we did it. We fixed that, which is great. And this is part of the thing about Horizon is it's constantly evolving and changing, and Visit 2.0 has been insane. Like, as much as it came with a lot of trouble, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it reminds me of when we were. Oh, I know you can't hear me because as well because of that. Sorry. It reminds me a lot of when Facebook had just started back in like 2010 era, and every month or two they would make a massive change to the design, and we were all like, "This is so much worse. Why would you do this?" And let's get out of here. Come on, create tab. Sorry, it's super shaky all again. Oh, I wonder why this keeps happening. I had to close to fix it last time. I'm gonna quit the app and restart. Let me see if I need to tab over here. Okay, it looks like we're back. Okay. Sorry, trying to figure this out. Yeah, I just got this weird new bug when I am wired in, or not wired in, AirPlaying, where it's like, it's jittering like almost like a very, very small delay, which is crazy because you'd expect that, but like there isn't. It's like bonkers. Like you're in Horizon and you're like, this is running on a computer over the Wi-Fi. What? How is this working? And but what I was saying is, it reminds me of when Facebook had just started as an app on our computers, and we were all like, please stop updating. We like it how it is. And it was like every month everybody would get online and like complain about it because there's a new change. But that's what it kind of feels like, is there's just change after change. And so as much as Visit 2.0 brought us a lot of changes and problems and headaches and things were broken and they fixed them, and it takes a while to learn all the changes, right? Like I'm just learning these new local scripting tricks and things. And maybe that's been a thing for a while. You never know. Like stuff is changing so quickly in this space. So, but I also really appreciate that in Visit 2.0, I travel like this. I mean, this morning I was in a meeting for an hour in VR with this guy, and we went to like 7 different worlds in an hour where we were just hopping in, talking, hopping over to the next one. And it was like no lag or delay. It was just, you're there in 10, 15 seconds now, which is a lot faster than it used to be. I mean, it just got there. What was that, 5 seconds? That was crazy. So, we're going to switch into that, finish off that last script there, which we're already confirmed is working. I need to switch over our video feed. And one moment. Let's go tab, switch to, there we go. I'm noticing the camera isn't there. Why is that? Oh, we're good. Okay, cool. So video's coming in nicely. We're going to come on over here. Player movement is used as in the world. I know, I wrote it. You don't need to tell me. Okay, so we're gonna go quickly fix that last little bit here, which was to say that this one wasn't referencing this. So drag the prototype trail effects into the trail effects slot. Ta-da! And we want to make sure that saves, but that should be okay. And then the pencil also needs to be saved into the pencil slot. So we'll drag that group into here. And that should do it. So I'll go script, stop and play. Also noticing this is in a weird position, which is super strange. So weird. Okay, and play. Now we'll try it out. So I come on in, grab the pencil, draw around for a few seconds. 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Now, now I gotta wait. 5, 4, 3, 2, and please. Yes, we've done it. And you can even see the trail effects moving back to here. So if you did what Jim had suggested earlier, which was to put the trail effect in the wall, then you won't see it teleport out. It'll just teleport into your wall that you can draw on. So cool. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there. There's more I'd love to do with this. Like I'd love to put in some like random modes and things, but honestly, like I said earlier, I think it's better to leave these things as easy so it's easier for people to implement. I'm going to build another black box, or maybe I'll put it in this black box. That might be the best spot. So I'll come back and finish updating that for this asset pack a little bit later. Let's take a look at what you guys have to say. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Really appreciate that tonight, you guys. When you have time, can you explain the difference between a local script and whatever the opposite is? Hey, Bethany, I did that a minute ago, but I'd be happy to go over it really briefly. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I went over that at the beginning of that video, or that last one we were just working on. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate it. Curtis says, hi there. Do you think you might tackle my trap question next week? Re-ask your trap question, Curtis. I can't see a message about it, but I'd love to hear what that is. I feel like it's in my email maybe. Also got really bad news about next week, but I'll tell you about that in a second as well. Is there a video already on a keypad I can look at? Because I have been looking for a while. There kind of is, but it's really outdated, so I'd love to show you a better method, Nosha. I do not like the new update when it comes to inviting friends. I don't know about it. Yes, thank you. I appreciate the birthday wishes. It was actually yesterday, but honestly, this is the best birthday present ever because you guys are amazing and I love having so much fun. Oh, okay. Glad you got it, Bethany. And no worries. Like, totally appreciate that. So, there was a question about adding the door with a keypad. That's where I wanted to start, was with that question. And then I wanted to get to, there was a question about the trap question, which I don't understand yet. So we'll come back to that. And I think that was it for the questions there. Okay, cool. And if I miss your question, feel free to re-ask it. There's a lot of messages coming through and sometimes I don't catch them all. Okay, so the question was how to use the keypad asset to open a door, which is such a cool idea. I love it. So we're going to go to my assets, search for keypad. Okay. Oh, look, they're all right there. Oh, no, they're not. Okay, so here's the keypad. Pull that one out. And so presumably you already got access to this. So this part isn't the problem. So then we need the door, which I'm assuming you also have as well. So here's our rotating door. And so I actually would love to see it as a sliding door. To me, like, sliding doors are just so much cooler. Although there's nothing wrong with a good, anyway. So what I'm going to do is make this really simple. But basically, imagine you have a door that requires a keypad. We'll put in a floor. And so right now, what this keypad does is it teleports you to this position here. So I'm going to delete that. And then we're going to slide this over. And then selecting all of this, we're going to then drag that down until it's nicely aligned with that. Nice. Okay. So I know this isn't perfect. It's literally just so we can test it out and make sure it all works properly. But this is kind of the idea, right? So we're going to have a door. You could redesign this door to whatever you want. And right now, this door works where it slides up when the trigger is entered. Of course, the world has to be started. Go ahead and hit play. And so we walk into here and it slides up. Looks kind of nice. Could have a different sound, which might sound nicer. And what we want to do is type in a code. And we're going to keep with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 code. But this trigger is what we're going to no longer use. So if we open up the door script, opening up this properties panel here, right now we're doing when the trigger is occupied, open the door, and when it's empty, close the door. And so what we want to do is not do that. And the way to make it so it doesn't do that easily is just to go to your Actions tab, grab Set Trigger Detection, and set Self's Detection to False. This is running on the trigger. And so by setting Self's Detection to False, that trigger is no longer going to function. And so this is just the easy way to do this. And then what we need to do to open it and to close it is to send the occupied event with a player ID or the empty event with a player ID to close it. And so over here on our keypad, we have 2 keypad events already built in. And so you'll note that we have an if statement section where you can see if current number string equals 0. Okay, no, that's not it. Where is it? Sorry, looking. Oh, right. So here's our current key where we check the key. So it says if the current number string equals the number code, then play success and spawn the player. So that was our original. Remember, we're no longer using spawn points. Let's go ahead and delete that spawn point. So now we no longer need this section. And instead what we want to do is create a new object variable, which is going to be a reference to that trigger. And we're going to call this door trigger. And so you actually have 2 options, I guess. Like there's actually 2 really easy options here. So sorry, and if I'm saying easy and that sounds offensive, I don't mean it to be offensive. I just mean like there's like 1 or 2 lines of code and it's like magically working. So if you need me to reiterate something, please ask. I'd be happy to go through this if you still have more questions. So right here is where we were doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 code. And so over here on actions, we can set trigger detection of this trigger, door trigger, to true, which would actually that might be the best method because like that might just be the best method, right? So we set the door trigger detection to true. Now all of a sudden it's detecting people entering it again and it's opening and closing as you'd expect. But if you really want the door to open because of this, then what you do is instead of setting the trigger detection to be true, you send event to object. And the event we send to this door trigger is the occupied event. And what occupied is it means the trigger is occupied by a player. And then empty means the trigger is no longer occupied by any players. And so when we think of trigger enter and trigger exit, that's on a per player basis. Every time a player enters, it happens. But occupied only happens when the first player enters, or an empty only happens when the last player exits, which is why they're so valuable for making doors. So we send occupied to the door trigger, but this will not work unless we pass through the parameter of the player. So we need to come back up here and grab the current player ID, which appears to be right down here. This seems to be the easiest spot. So I'm going to just thumbstick to the right into the new parameter slot. And now this will open when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is put in. If you want to close it, you can either set trigger detection to false down here, or you can do what we just did here, which is when code 2 is entered, which is the secondary code, you can send empty with the same parameter to the door trigger, and that will close it after the second number is put in. So let's go ahead and try this out. So we hit stop, clear, and play. Oh, and I need to reference that. That's what I forgot. So opening up, is it this trigger, I think? This trigger? Let's see, can I get this trigger open? There it is. Okay, so yeah, once we open up this trigger, we can then reference that trigger. And we're gonna need to zoom into here. So we'll zoom in, open trigger, zoom out, click, grabbing, there we go. Apparently that worked. And then we'll grab the trigger reference pill, dropping that into the empty door trigger reference. And with that referenced, we can now try it out. So script, stop, clear, and play. Coming back in, we'll grab our little wand here and backspace. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There it goes. And the second code is 24680. 246. Very creative codes, I see. 6, 8, and 0, and it closes. So let me know if that works and answers your question. But thanks for asking. Okay, reading your messages. Thank you guys all for the birthday wishes again. Appreciate it. It was on a prior video. I'm new and want to make a trigger trap where when a user crosses the trigger, a projectile hits the user and causes them to respawn. I did see that. And I think I even sent it to myself in an email because I thought it was such a good idea. Time is it? It's 5:07. Okay. Okay. There's a couple videos that would be really useful. So one of them is extremely beginner level, so I wouldn't feel bad having you go there. Let's, I'm gonna delete this because we're done with this. And I'll explain why timing is so critical in just a moment. Okay, and delete. Cool stuff though. So thanks for asking, and I hope that has helped. So down here, we have a projectile launcher, and it respawns players to this spawn point. It's called the Mystic Staff. If you've never seen this script, it's basically the video is relatively short and it's really easy to follow. I think I could be wrong. It is like almost a year old now, but it saves your origin position. It saves your origin rotation so that the staff can return. Not really relevant here. It also does some return stuff, but the important thing that it does is when the index trigger is pressed by a player, it plays a sound on the sound effect, it plays a visual effect on the visual effect, and it launches a projectile from the projectile launcher. So the question I had is like, how complex do we make this? So I guess your first question, Curtis, is like, how familiar are you with scripting in Horizon? And are you wanting to, well, it's not necessarily do you want to, it's like, do you want to take this to the point where we're like targeting the player and it's like, almost like a robotic target? Thinking through my head. Let's come back up here to our invisible platform area. Change this to be not this color. We're going to go with a solid. And now we've got a space to work on. We need a trigger that the player enters. And so I'm imagining this is kind of like a hallway. And then when a trigger is entered, we're going to fire a projectile. So it's a trap. So you get stuck no matter what. Excuse me. And then the projectile launcher goes right here. So we'll select that and slide that there. And the script basically can be two parts. So if we're doing this on a very beginner level, it says I'm really not needing to target. I have a fake button. When they push the wrong button, I want to have them start over. Oh, well, that's even easier than using a projectile launcher. I wouldn't use a projectile launcher for that. So head into your build menu. Under assets, go down to the asset library. And in the asset library, you're going to find a respawn script. And we've done this tutorial a few times. The best one, in my opinion, is the one by Hyperjoule. And the respawn script basically is going to teleport a user when they enter a trigger. And so if I can find a place to snap this onto, I can't even see what color this is. It says, I don't even know. Can I not let go? My hands isn't working. Oh, there it goes. Maybe? Oh my gosh. Oh, right. I removed that. It's so unlit. I didn't even know that I'd removed it. That's so funny. Okay. And try again. Okay. So there we go. No wonder it wasn't working. So I'll snap that onto here, slide that up. Okay, and then I think I have to hit play world, script, and play. So this is in your asset library. You can pull this out right now, and it basically, when trigger is entered, it teleports them to a spawn point. So if I were you, I would grab this trigger, place it over a button, and move this to the starting position. And you duplicate this for all the wrong buttons. You just go duplicate, 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 and then have one that's right. And so when you have the right one, you'd select like this, and then duplicate a copy. And when they select the right button, that would teleport them over to here. And then we'll just grab some button references and right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so now they're like constantly picking the wrong button. And it's like, oh no, oh gosh, that's even worse. Right? And then if they pick the right one, they get to progress forward. So if that is what you're looking to do, then that was way simpler. If you really need projectile launcher, I think the projectile launcher is more aesthetic than anything. Like, especially if you definitely want them to respawn. So perfect. Okay, cool. So yeah, then I'm going to quickly grab the link to the video for this. Give me 1 second and I'll post it in the chat. Okay, so the first one is from our channel, and it's also going to teach you about the staff, which does projectile launcher. And then the next one I'm going to get you is my favorite, which is the one by Hyperjoule I mentioned. And it's called Scripting 101, which is a great introduction to scripting. And it's at the beginning of our playlist. Let's start scripting. So copy link address. There we go. Okay, so yeah. There you have it. Feel free to keep the questions coming, you guys. Really appreciate it. And we are pretty much at the time where I need to get ready for, we got Horizon Live coming. Just let me see if you guys had anything else that I need to look at. I don't think so. Okay, so the thing that I needed to do was update a couple of these visually. But I did get all of the assets in here, right? So we got the new Let me check. Okay, so if you've just joined us, I know we've been here live for a while now. So let me tell you a little bit about what you're seeing in the background here. Thank you guys all so much for being here, by the way. So the background here is called Vidyuu Park. Vidyuu Park is a new bundle of assets that will be hitting the asset library ideally this Wednesday. It might be later. It honestly, like sometimes things just go up in the air and it takes longer. But the goal is this Wednesday, and I've pretty much got all the assets finished. So my goal is to finish this up tonight. And with that said, that's what you're seeing here. So all of these should be on your asset library where I just showed you on Wednesday, which is super exciting. Lots of fun toys in here to play with. And I just have to finish getting them visually ready because we're supposed to be filming a video shoot for it to get the video ready because it's also due tomorrow. So assets and video due tomorrow. Last minute, right? But I've been working on it all week. Like it literally takes so many hours to get these things ready. It's crazy. What I wanted to look at was under my asset library, under game items, there is all the things that I wanted to add. So digital clock's good. There's a few of these need some updates because I just visually changed them slightly. But that's easy enough. So the flying broomstick's good. The drivable car, I like the duck idea. So I was thinking about finishing the duck thought. Mystic Staff got visually updated. Oh, I didn't make an asset out of the pencil over here. So let's select from this script, select, and that's everything. Then open the properties panel and create asset called Hyper Pencil. And the reason we're calling this Hyper Pencil is because it's a really big, huge thank you to Hyperjewel, who has been making this asset available to everybody for so long and has put in tireless amounts of work to get these out to you guys. And so now we're going to get it into the public asset library and just really appreciate her work. So 02, and this is called, I'm not going to describe it yet. I'll come up with the description later. Click create. I try to create these as fast as possible because sometimes I like lose them. So then I'll come back in and take the picture. And so what I wanted to do was draw and say, oh, world's not started. I was like, oh no, what's going wrong? Stop and play. There we go. Come on in. And then grab that. And that is not pretty. Let's try to make something nice like, I don't really know what I want to put here. Maybe a smiling face, some like little hair on the top. Maybe a nice chin and a nose. Can we get a nose in there? That's a nose. A little self-portrait almost. And then put a little glasses on me. And oh no, okay, it's fading away too fast. Hi. I'll just say hi. That's fine. And there we go. Okay, and take picture. And now I gotta take a picture of it before it disappears. And let's go. There we go. Not the prettiest picture. I have a world that has voting in it, and I imagine that judges would vote by a scale that adds up to the sum for each judge. Is there an easy way to do this? I have done this in the past, actually. Did we make a video on it? I have to think about that. I think we did voting a while ago, didn't we? Yeah. There's a video in the queue. I don't remember which live stream it's in, but we did a voting one. It doesn't use the scaling feature, but it's really cool to scale it. And so it's in one of our live streams. It's currently being edited, so it should be done soon. And the way to scale it is just to multiply by the scale, which probably sounds more difficult than it should be. Sorry, one moment. Information, edit, select photo, selected, confirm, update. Okay. And so to answer the question really quickly, when you want to scale something, scale is 3 components. You have the X scale, the Y scale, and the Z scale. And so I don't need to write a script name because we're not using this, but when I'm losing my voice, so I apologize. My voice is going, but we're going to call this origin scale. And so when you pull out an object, so say for instance, this cube, right? This cube pulls out with the y pointing upwards. And so if we wanted to scale, I would start by setting this scale to be 1, 1, 1. And the reason I would do that is because this is 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, which means you can think of it as a 1 meter object. So if I had other objects, I'd want to scale it all into a 1 meter space and try to so say I had something like this, and then I had something like this. I would then make sure they fit into this 1 meter, and then select this cube, then select these two, deselect, group that, so that this is what 1, 1, 1 looks like. Anyway, we're just going to use this cube, and so I'll quickly attach the script so we can visualize this as we go. Let's see if I can find this script. There it is. Okay. And then what we'd want to do is when world is started, set the origin scale. So that's this vector value. And we set that by going to our operators tab. And under operators, we have scale of object. And then the scale of self in this case, because we're running it on the self. And so you would know the amount of votes. And so then you could scale to, or scale to over time, which looks way cooler. And 1 second's probably fine. We're scaling self, that's true, but we only want to scale on the y component. Now to scale only on the y, there's a few ways to do it. So I'm going to do the way that I think is easiest to understand. So you grab a new vector from XYZ, drop that into scale. Then you can grab the x of a vector, you can grab the z of a vector, and we'll leave y blank for now. We can get this vector, that's on our variables tab, so that's our origin scale. We can then thumbstick to the right, and now we've grabbed the x of that origin scale and the z of that origin scale, so that way it doesn't change. It stays that original size. Then on our y, we want to scale this up by the number of votes. And so you'd have some number variable called votes, and then you would do this for each of the teams, right? And so as votes changes, we'll say it starts at 1, and then when this comes in, we say, so say you send an event to this object to tell it the new update. So you'd say new vote, right? So there'd be a new vote comes in, and this new vote would be for this object specifically. So you'd have one for each team, and that would be a number. And maybe it's the number of votes, maybe it's the current value. Sure, we'll just say it's 1 for now. So anyway, set to, sorry, I'm going a little fast, but hopefully this is making sense. So we set the votes to this number that comes in, and I'm going to just call this total, new total. So you'd send an event to this cube called new vote with the new total, and then it would save that, and then it would scale when that new votes came in to, and then you take y and multiply it. So we'd say under operators at the top, there's a multiplication symbol, and you would grab back down here under y a vector. We then grab the y of the origin scale and multiply it by this new total. And if it all is happening in here, you don't even need this votes parameter. You can just leave it just like that. And so I'm going to delete that. And then what we can do is send an event. So theoretically on your other object, you're sending the new vote event with the total number of votes, which we're just going to demonstrate here by saying, imagine it was 2, and I press enter and make sure the world's playing world. You can see then it scales to 2, and this is where we actually see the first problem with this method that I remember now, is that it scales from the center. And so as you can see, the way to solve this is by duplicating this object, making the bottom half non-visible and non-collidable, and then close out of this, group these together. And this is okay because the top is 1 meter and they're both equal distance, so the center is right here, so this is all good. We'll then want to attach the script onto this one. And then I did forget to remove the script, so I'll go do that real quick. So remove the script, make this non-animated, and zoom out. Okay, and now when I hit play, it's going to move to 7x, and something weird happened there, where it's not displaying at the top for some reason. Not sure why that happened. I think that was just a visual bug. I don't think that's actually right. Let's try it again. Yeah, this seems to be some sort of visual bug. There's nothing actually there. Yeah, you can see the object ends here. For some reason, that's weird. But anyway, the next thing I was going to demonstrate with this is that if you scaled it, because we're using that origin scale, you can scale this to be the right size that you want it to be for your voting counter, and then hit play, and you can see it count up to 7, or I could type in 22, for instance, and you'll see it shoots up real fast. And yeah, there you go. Okay. So with that little demonstration out of the way, let's see. Pings coming in all over the place. Yes, let's rock on. I love that. It is 5:25. Oh, housekeeping items. Housekeeping items. There's some important stuff to talk about. So, number one, I mentioned this earlier, but I will be at a baby birthday party on next Sunday. So unfortunately, there will not be a live stream on Sunday. I'm probably going to do one the day before, or on Friday, or something like that, because these are the highlight of my week. Don't get me wrong, this really is. It's so much fun. And I really enjoy taking your requests. I've got quite a few still lined up in my queue. I didn't have a ton of time today. So today, for the rest of the plan, I'm going to finish updating a couple assets so they're visually just chef's kiss. And then the next thing I'd like to do is invite you to join me in that world, where we will be recording a promo video. And after that, we'll be heading to Horizon Live for the live stream, which is, let's see. Yeah, in Horizon Live. I'm like, what else do I have to say about that? It's also on Vidyuu Nights. You can watch that on Vidyuu Nights. It starts in 34 minutes. So if you're not interested in coming in VR and you want to just keep watching live stream content, it starts immediately after this stream. So I encourage you to check that out. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them. I'll do my best to answer them despite the limited time. But my main focus for the rest of today is just getting like the go-kart designed. I think there's a couple other small design things I want to fix and tweak. And then, yeah, but really appreciate you guys hanging out. Had a lot of fun. If you're new here or you just arrived, we just made some really cool tools. The one we made earlier is called Hyper Pencils. I'd encourage you to scroll back through the video or after we're done and check it out. It's a relatively simple script to follow. And so really looking forward to getting that edited and posted to the channel as well. So if you just want to wait for it to be, you know, really polished and ready to watch, you can wait for that to come out on the channel later. And yeah, so great times, and let's keep it rolling. I think I might even grab some water and be right back. So if you guys want to take a quick water break, go for it, and then we'll dive right back in. I'm reading this message. Let me think about it while I'm gone. I'll be right back. And AC, turn that back on. There we go. Drink water. Okay. That looks so crazy. So crazy. Okay, we are back. Grabbing my hands. Hello, hands. And open, close. Nice. Dion's got a few more questions. Great. We'll look forward to seeing you, King Chief. Looking forward to it. Is there a way to have persistent variables across lands, like a land creator or something? No, unfortunately not. I wish. That'd be really cool. Maybe one day, though. Yeah, no, I'll let you guys keep chatting about that, but no, that's not really possible, at least not yet. One day, though, like there's some really crazy things you could do with math to try and figure it out, but it's not possible. Like people would have to manually enter their information and you'd have to deconstruct it into a secret code using some like cryptography. Anyway, it would be like manually people entering that so that it would register. It's just, it's not. Don't do it. We just wait for Horizon to come out with something and keep begging for it. King Chief, I don't know how to respond to that because it's a lot more complicated than I thought you were talking about the voting system we talked about in a couple live streams ago, where you would just send the value through. I don't know for your instance because my brain is just all over the place right now. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and design a go-kart. And here it is. So this was the duck go-kart. And I also need to redesign this thing. So the soft cubes were never a fan of mine. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of like take the same colors and sharpen it up. Oh, and we've got this new theme that I've been loving. So we're going to do that too. So that looks nice. And then what I like to do is grab my duplicate tool, scale it up just a little bit, and then shrink it down real thin, like that. And then go into my Style tab, select white, and make it unlit. And then plant that like that. Then grab it from the center, and snap this into the center of here. And then shrink it down until it's right on the edges of all these. And you get this really cool look. And I don't think this is hard to implement. It's just a little extra work, but it's so worth it for the extra aesthetic. And select just that one, and then center snap it like that. That's looking pretty good, just like that. And then the next thing I want to do is grab one of these. And so, you know, oftentimes I design like this in Horizon. Like, I'm going to change the tone of this. So if I go to my manual color slider, I can slide this over into like a purple gray. It's kind of cool. And if I grab this, grab that, and then grab this, do the same thing for that. And so I'll like go on to like Google Images and look up images of things that I find inspiring, and then use that as kind of a starting point to figure out how I want to build what I'm building. So this is kind of cool. And we'll duplicate that and slide that over where I like that roughly, and then select both of them, center it right down here, and then slide it up however much I like. And then the last bit here is our controller, which I'm going to select this color and also slide that over into our deep purple cones, and then snap that onto here, sliding it up. And so you might be asking, well, that's a lot of work to basically, you know, recreate that. But it's worth it. And there's a couple things this does that are nice. So number one, what it does is it's going to save us capacity. And so the capacity cost of rounded shapes, I think these are actually spheres, but of this rounded cube is 2x. So these two shapes cost the same as this one shape. It's bonkers. So And that's on a geometric complexity level, which is usually the one that you're worried about when you're making high player count worlds. And then I do like the idea of having a unlit light in the top left. We'll do that right there. It's like unintentionally almost identical. And we'll make it real skinny. There we go. That looks nice. And then all I need to do is make this all non-collidable except for the major cube. So open the properties of these and turn collidable off. There we go. And I think I forgot to select this one. Yep. Okay. Collidable off. And then the last step here is you open up this and then you select all of these objects. My right hand seems to have frozen. There we go. So select all of these objects here and then just hit zoom in. Grab the text here because this explains how to use it. And slide that up until you get that into a good position. And then delete all these at the bottom. Gotta zoom back in. And then delete all of these down here. Make sure the text is still in there. It is. And then zoom out. And now we've updated the controller into this new design without breaking the script, which is kind of cool. Make sure that's still a good size in here. It is. Look at that. Pretty nice. Definitely different. It's got some unique design elements, honestly. Not bad. Okay. Hold index trigger to move. Okay. So all of that is good, but now we need to make this look decent. And I'm debating a couple methods of this. So if I zoom in here, one method I'm thinking about, which I don't know how I feel, is I drag this to the front like that, delete this duck friend here, and then just slide this across to here. Yeah, I don't know if I like this or not. So you slide it to like that, and slide it to like that. Oh, that's not great. It's not great. It's kind of funny. Let's go with it. Why not? Why not? What is that approaching me? Is it a sleigh? No, it's a duck. And then, yeah, that's funny. And then we'll go and make sure this is non-collidable. But then I want to make sure that it doesn't get bumped into. So I'm going to make this here to prevent people from stepping on it. So selecting this and then sliding that into right about there. That looks almost right, but something's wrong about this. I think we're somehow skewed, which is crazy. I didn't think we were skewed, but apparently we are. So what I'm going to do then is select this and zoom out with it, and then position it in the outside world before entering this world. There we go. And then I can select this, select that, and deselect this, and then slide that into position. What? Oh, there it goes. Okay. And then open the properties panel of that, making it invisible. And then keep it collidable, zooming back in, and then I can let go. And it seems okay. We'll zoom out. And now when we get on this, we can walk in, grab our controller, and ride the duck. Come on. Oh, the world stopped, isn't it? Okay. And script and play. And I think I want this to be an unlit because the weird lighting in the shadowy areas. So we'll do unlit purple. Oh no, it's even worse. Okay, I take it back. We're just gonna do. Nope, that didn't help it. That didn't help it one bit. Oh, solid black might look okay. Yeah, that's okay. And then we'll just paint this the same so it has a similar aesthetic. And then I think the last thing I want to do is zoom in, script, stop, clear. And zoom in. I really don't like this eating into the duck area, so I thought we'll just connect it to the butt of the duck. And then we'll do the same thing up here. Actually, this kind of needs to be here because this is what it's rolling on. But we can make it invisible. So we can say visibility turned off, but leave it collidable. So that way it's still, the duck will be able to walk up. So what this does is it allows the duck to walk up physical shaped things. So then we're going to zoom out. And move the controller into a better position. Hey, KO, great to see you. You ready to ride the duck? It's like, what? All right, we'll go ahead and hit play. And yes, I'll join you. Let's go for a ride. Whoa, there we go. Ah! Ah! Okay, we fell. And so you can ride the duck. I like the Oreo cookie design. I think that's a good idea. I do think that's a good idea. Zoom in. Open up. Duplicate halfway. Then duplicate halfway again. Then select the big one here. Deselect the big one. Slide this off to the side for a second. Select this one. Sliding it off to here. And select this one. Slide it to here. So there should be... Oops, that's not what I wanted. Try this again. Okay. And we'll delete that for now. Okay, so the idea is we go like that, and then like that. And then we'll paint this one white. All right. Okay, and then select the three of these and slide that to roughly the middle, noticing that this piece is not invisible. So I'm going to fix that real quick. Visibility off. Cool. And then we'll zoom out. And I think for this one in the center, we're going to make this unlit so that it stays with that kind of Oreo theme. There we go. I hope you like that, Pat, because I kind of do. Oh, the controller. Yeah, these are kind of cool, aren't they? Oh my gosh, sorry. Oh. Yeah, I know, I love riding the ducks in Seattle. Oh my gosh, which is probably why I keep saying it, because I did that as a kid. And I have one of those quackers somewhere in my childhood storage pack. Oh. We're going to be hopping into play mode here in just a second. I'm going to be inviting y'all to come and join. It might be in a little bit longer than I was anticipating, but let's see if we grab this Oreo duck and take that for a ride. Okay, here we go, KO. Maybe I'm on my way. Whee! Oh no! And the thing about physics that's fun is it does that, right? Where it like tries to ride up on stuff, which is so cool. So we'll hop on board. Come on. No, Ducky can't walk up that thick of things. Okay, here we go. This one should be easy. Yeah! We did it! Oh. Oh, that's pretty fun. This is what we call like a triple stuffed. Oh no. Yeah, so it would have to be a thicker base to get up that edge. It's a pretty... Oh, look at that. So good. But yeah, so that's fun. Oh, I think we should maybe make it a different color, but that is fun. Oh, okay. And I'm going to zoom into the group real quick and take the centerpiece and then attributes, change the thickness down to half of that, 0.2. Because that was like a quadruple stuffed. And I don't think it needed to be that thick. Snap. And, oh no. Zoom back in. Select and snap. There we go. And zoom out. Not sure what to think. Not sure what to think at all. Okay, duplicate to the midpoint. Oh, that didn't work. Roughly midpoint. Delete. Duplicate to the midpoint. Roughly. And then delete. Yeah, that's not duplicating correctly, but that's okay. We'll just eyeball it. Good enough for me. Okay, this is fine. This is all totally fine. Yep, that should work. And I think that's a good duck. Now, this one is the old style, and I think I'm going to leave it just as it is. That's fine. And then the broomsticks are cool. Was there anything else that needed a visual redesign? Oh, it was these guys over here, the clocks. How do I fix this easily? If you get far enough away, it becomes really flickery, doesn't it? Oh, well, I want to get far away. I guess it's not that flickery, huh? Okay, never mind. If I get closer, there's some Z-ripping there. I have to admit it. I hate it, but like right on the edge. Oh, it's a bad way too. Okay, I gotta fix it. It's a lot of work, but we're going to. So I basically have to zoom into each of these and then grab this black part and just pull it out just a hair. And zoom out and then check. And that fixed it. So I just have to go do that for each of these. 1 second. KO, can you check that the text isn't flickering at a distance now? Oh, no, it's still there. That's so strange. It's so weird. It's like, it must be a weird thing with the edge of this. I wonder... Oh, I don't know what to do. I just want to make sure the text doesn't start Z-ripping.
I don't see anything on my end.
Well, that's good. So I was going to just drag this out just a hair.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
And then try zooming in a little bit further. Because for some reason the white is clipping through. I don't know why. Zoom out. Check this one now. Now it seems good. That's what I said before. It's still from this angle. That's so weird. It must just be the way the rendering works in this. So, like that one's fine, and then it's not from a specific angle. Huh. Okay. I'm going to just do my best. Zoom in, select, zoom out. By the way, KO is my wife. Hi, KO. So, if everybody's wondering, what is KO doing there? Yep, she is sneaking in. Zoom out. And keep going, almost done. Zoom in. Zoom out. And KO, I'd actually like you to record upstairs using the portrait mode, because I think some of these shots are going to be in portrait mode, actually. So if you wouldn't mind joining me upstairs right now, I'll have you record with the desktop
right
out.
here, like, crying.
Oh, is she? Poor girl. Okay, looking at these. I mean, they're better, so that's as good as it's going to get. Okay, so I think visually this is looking good, and if you guys have just joined us, welcome to Vidyuu Park. It is a new asset pack similar to the Simple Tools pack, and it's the second in the series. You get a bunch of cool little park assets, which is really fun, with my favorite being the bounce house. Woo! It's so much fun. Super bounces. See if you can get on the roof. Enjoy the... so you can view the whole entire maze. That's nice. And yeah, so a super fun pack, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. So without further ado, it is time to publish. So let's get this guy ready for publishing, and then I will meet you guys here. So if you want to get your headsets out, the world is called Vidyuu Park. It is now visible to the public. It's no longer a beta. Yes, it's for everyone. It's exploration. The name's good, and publish. Thumbnail seems decent enough. I'll leave that. Did I make the capacity right? Player settings. Oh, no, I didn't. Fix that. There we go. Oh, no, it says that's too much. Too much? Oh. What you complaining about there, little guy? You happy about that? Geometric complexity. Too much duck up in here. 28. Is that our number? 28 it is. Okay. And publish. All right, you guys, I will see you at Vidyuu Park. I'm going to stay on the live stream for a little bit longer. KO, if you would like to come up, I do want you to get started recording. It's 5:49 published. Looks good. Open up menu and published world page. Visit world. I'll see you guys there. Woo! The shoes. I see your message. It's like, are you sure you want to show this message? It's held for review. That's funny. But it is funny. Oh. We'll hit show. Boom. There you go. To the public. Alrighty. Welcome. So I'll be waiting here for you guys. I will see you soon. And yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That information is super duper public knowledge. It's actually right here. So if you go to the Symbol Tools pack, this whole page right here on this picture talks about gradients and how to make that specific gradient. And I think I have a picture of it in here. Let me pull up the picture. Ba, 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 ba. There it is. Let's go and zoom in on that. Oh, I can't get any closer. Okay. Nope, that's not good enough. Well, anyway, you can see that. It's actually in your asset pack. If you open up your asset pack, you can pull that out in the asset library. Excuse me, not asset pack. It's asset library. You have access to that board right there. So yeah, feel free to check that out. And cool beans. So I'll see you guys when you get here. Oh, welcome, Craig. Craig, can you hold down the fort? I'm going to switch to LakeSo5's account. So I'll be right back.
Good.
Thank you. Hello. I'll stay with you guys while you transition over. Craig is holding down the fort for us. Thank you, Craig. Feel free to go and join on him in that world. We're going to close this. And let's see, I think we're good with this. I need to get my account in. Switching over. I'm back as LakeSo5, it looks like. I am. Open up the library. Horizon Worlds. Here we go. Okay. So, opening up Horizon Worlds. Heading in. Oh, there's another place you can look it up too. I actually have a link to it, so I'll post it right now. I just remembered. Command T. Oh, is it on this one? I think it is. Facebook.com/Vidyuu/photos. Boom. I forgot it was there. Command A, Command C. It doesn't have all of them, but it has most of them in there. So yeah, check that out, and you'll see the photo right there. Fantastic. Cool beans. Let me get over to the world now. What time are we rolling? It is 5:52, so Horizon Live is starting in 8 minutes. Doesn't give us a ton of time to record, but I think we're going to be recording for a little bit before we head over. You're welcome to go watch Horizon Live. Definitely don't want to draw away from Oculus, and his amazing presentation for sure is amazing. So looking forward to jumping over there as soon as we're done here. Assembling world. Yeah, you can't see what I'm doing, but that's okay. We are heading to Horizon Live. So if you're we're heading to Vidyuu Park. So if you go to your Worlds tab and search up Vidyuu space Park, that's where we'll be. Apologies for the sound. That's the air conditioner. So I appreciate you dealing with it. I know it's not great, I'm sorry. Alright, I've just landed, going to the Worlds tab, searching up Vidyuu, and Vidyuu Park is probably right near the top. No, it's not. Lots of Vidyuu Worlds, look at that. Vidyuu Park, right there, visiting world. Alright, I'll see you there. And I'm throwing up thumbs up emojis! Welcome, KO! Thanks for joining us. Okay. Facebook.com, so that website is youtube.com/Vidyuu Nights. It is a talk show hosted by Oculus 410 that usually runs for at least 3 hours, which is pretty cool, pretty crazy. Show baby! My mom might be here. Mom, are you here? Hi, Mom! Mom, are you here in the future? Here's baby. Oh, right, there's people. Is my mom here? Nope, that's King Chief. And Craig. Great to see you guys. Thank you, thank you. No, they're not. They're meant to be non-collidable. Sorry, they're meant to be non-collidable. I did it on purpose. It's so you can hide in them, right? Like, I'm a creep, I'm a creep, I'm a creep, I'm a creep. What?
Say hi.
You won't see me back here. You don't see me back here. What's up? What's up? All right, I'll be right back. We'll wait for some more people to join. Should just be a minute. Okay.
I know, it's gonna go in there.
I'm welcoming you all to join us in Vidyuu Park. I am going to switch to portrait mode, which I don't know if live streams can switch to portrait mode, so we might have to end it here. Let's go camera. And, oh, what did I hit? Hit some button. Hopefully that closes. All right. Searching for screen. Oh, that's the one. So hard to work sideways. Orientation. There it is. Okay, and this is. Okay. To open up Horizon. Okay, opening Horizon in portrait mode. Super cool. Oh, poor little baby. Aww. But I would love to see you guys in VR. You can join us either at Horizon Live, which is the link I just sent. That's youtube.com/Vidyuu Nights. That's a show by Oculus 410. It's an amazing talk show. I encourage you to check that out. Or you can join me in Vidyuu Park. I'm Laexo5, LAEX05. You can join on me. And we're going to be doing a promo video recording for the new assets. So hope to see you there. I am going to end the live stream here. And thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Oh, poor baby. Okay, OBS. All right, picking up over here. Bye! She says bye too.